Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. Um, I probably won't be doing any more of these quick phone uploads because I don't have any money, which means I'm not going to be paying a phone bill, which means I won't be using the phone. The reason why the phones are good because it takes like 5 minutes to upload vids. But anyway, I mean, I have other cameras, it's not an issue. But anyway. Um, So in Chicago, and for those of that you that don't know, Chicago leads the nation in murder and homicides. Um, in all age groups, and you know how the American government breaks down everything by race and by age and by sex and by gender and by height and by weight. Anyway, so in every single statistical category, Chicago leads the nation in homicide. Anyway, that lovely place. The place where they care more about mass mandates than human life. The place where they care more about your vaccine status. Once again, more than, the homicide rate, the homeless. There's so many problems, like real problems in Chicago, but they're focused on stupid shit. And one other thing they're focused on in Chicago, now in the public schools, every bathroom is a gender neutral bathroom, which means boys and girls, like there is no boys bathroom, there is no girls bathroom. It's just a bathroom. Okay, here's the thing. We've already had one case where this happened in Loudoun County where boys were allowed to go in to girls' restrooms. And what happened? Oh, a girl was, sexually assaulted by a boy in a skirt in a girls' bathroom, because boys are allowed to go into the girls' bathroom in Loudoun County, or they were. I don't think they are anymore. And so this boy raped a girl. What do you think is going to happen in Chicago? Um, I don't know. This is another example of women not having a space. Women spend so long invading men's spaces, and I know I've talked about this before, that now men are invading their spaces. And the thing is, when men invade women's spaces, women get hurt. That's just how it is, because there are men. I mean, there are plenty of men who want to go to women's restrooms because they want to be, they want to peek over the stall when a woman's sitting down, or like they just want to be in there when a woman's in there, because there's a lot of bad guys out there. There's a lot of perverts out there. So what do you think's gonna happen in high school? It's you're gonna get a group of like 3 or 4 boys like, hey, let's hang out in the girls' restroom all day. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have problems, okay? Um, and the people who thought of this idea were, of course, two leftist women. And the problem is the left doesn't care about your kids. They want to sexualize your kids. They want to they they want to morally bankrupt your kids. Women have it hard enough in life. They just do. Once again, men and women are different. Society treats men and women differently. Women have it harder. If you take the overall picture of men and women, men have it a lot easier than women for several reasons. And even though men's spaces have been invaded by women and taken away, the reason why women do invade men's spaces and try to take away men's spaces is because women feel like men have it better. See, but the problem is women need to focus on making their spaces better. That's why women. Yeah, it's how it is. Like, that's why women aren't doing as well. Women try to bring themselves up by putting men down. The one thing that does is bring them both down. I mean, and you can blame intelligence on that. You can blame emotions on that. Men think logically. Women are using emotions. Logically, the women who are doing this should focus on let's make a women's place better. You're putting a lot of energy into bringing men down, and the only thing you're doing, you're staying on the same level and not rising up. That's why women haven't improved any. But back to this. You got these two women who are in charge of this idea. They both, I'm just basing this on what they look like. They're pronoun in the bio type people. They're part of the LGBTPABCD coalition. You know, those people just those people lack common sense. Those people aren't fully functional mentally because they think that girls are going to be okay with this. How many women, girls, whatever, want a man in their restroom? Whether it's a man wearing a dress or not, or a man dressed in a way that you can't tell it's a man, it doesn't matter. Women don't want that. You think you think a public restroom would be the one spot where they would just let women have to themselves? Children. This is elementary school. This is middle school. This is high school. Do you want your elementary school age children, female children, to be in a restroom where boys can be in there? I don't. Think about the age groups. Do you want your middle school daughter to go to a school where boys are allowed in her restroom? No. High school. Think of your high school age daughter. Do you want your high school age daughter to go to a school where boys are allowed to be in her restroom? No. Now flip it. Boys. High school boys. Do you want your high school boy to go to a school where girls are allowed in his restroom? It doesn't matter. I feel, to me, I think the boy would love it. So, it's just different. Men and women are different. Just how it is. Now, as an adult, I've been to clubs. This is different. An adult club where there is just only one restroom and there's like one giant restroom. Like you could fit like 40 people in this restroom. So it's just one restroom. It's like men and women can go inside the restroom. But the thing is, it's like one giant restroom. It's a different, but it's adults. It's just different, And you gotta remember, at a club, half the people go into the club to check the mirror. So in this particular restroom, it was like a 20-foot long mirror, 20-foot long mirror, like big ass sinks, just plenty of stalls and urinals. But the thing is, it was designed for basically vain, your typical average LA person at a club, because a typical person's going right in, check yourself, and you're gonna leave, and that's what most people did. It's just men and women staring in the mirror, walking out in their stalls and urinals, way in the back. No one's, it's different, But like, imagine that, but it's high school kids. You're gonna have issues. It's just different, So it just shows you how much people care about your children. So if you're a Chicago parent, take your daughter out of out of the school system now. Just take your daughter out of the school system. As long as your child knows how to read and do basic math, they're fine. They can function in society. You do not need to know any history. Okay? Okay, put it this way. Any history in high school that didn't involve something that's going to affect me, I did not pay attention to. So like anything that happened in Europe, I don't know about. Anything that happened in like 1700s, I don't, who cares? In fact, I don't remember anything from history from high school. I don't remember any math from high school. I know basic math. 1 + 1 = 2. I mean, that's all I need in my life, actually. I really don't. I can't. I can't think of one time where anything I learned in algebra 2 has come into effect in my life. And if I have a hard math problem, which I don't in my life, but I have a calculator. History, have not used 1 ounce of history, um, ever. I can't think of one time I've needed to know history. So your child doesn't. I mean, once again, this is different. You know, if you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer, okay, I understand. But anyway, or if you're gonna be a historian, um, take your kids out of school. I mean, well, take your daughters out of school, and then in Chicago, you should take your sons out of school just because the place is so dangerous. You know, the violence on the streets spreads to the violence, in the schools as well. So, in fact, I would just like move out of Chicago. It's a horrible place. It's just a horrible state. How long do you think it's going to take before there's going to be a news story of something happening in one of these public school restrooms? I mean, it already happened in Loudoun County, but now in Chicago, it's every school. Something's going to happen, and I can't wait for it to happen, because it's going to show what they really want with your children, and guess what? They're not gonna they're not gonna change this. You need to take your kids out of that school. I mean, of that school system. Homeschool your kids, and besides, in Chicago, God, in 2007, they had a 60% graduation rate. Now they're up to 80. That's horrible. So it's like, if you take, don't need the K drum in the background. Don't want to get copyright striked. But anyway, Chicago's a shithole. The nation knows it. Our politicians know it. People in power know it. In Washington, it's a shithole on purpose, because perverts run this. Evil people run this. Chicago is the way it is because of evil people. Detroit is the way it is because of evil people. Okay? What happens when people try to loot in Beverly Hills in California? What happens? It gets stopped within 3 minutes. Literally. You don't get you don't get to mess up this nice white neighborhood. You don't. And that's how it should be. What happens in Chicago? It's just a bunch of poor brown people who now have who now don't have restrooms. I mean, they don't give a fuck about you people. You people stay there. Take your kids out the system. Stop using the system. I don't know what else to tell you. The mayor in Chicago cares more about wearing a mask than the homicide rate. They're not doing it. They're not doing anything to stop the murders, but they'll stop you from going outside because you're not wearing a mask. That makes no sense. Gun violence is on a rampage in Chicago. They're worried about a mask. They're worried about making sure your teen daughter can't even have private time at a public school restroom. Chicago's a shithole, and the fact that the government lets it happen shows what they think about you and your kids. You know, the reason why Chicago has never gotten better because you've never gotten better leaders. And that's another thing. Who's voting? That says a lot about the people who live in Chicago. Is Chicago just a concentration of like perverts, delinquents, and evil people? I think so. It's a very leftist part of the nation. Very left. And once again, the left is, Bill Clinton was on the Lolita Express. It's just one example, but it's like, some of the left's great leaders are, Epstein followers. It's just, and this is just a product of that as well. The left is evil. All of these Democratic run counties are run down, full of crime, looting, assaults, just evil places run by evil people. You gotta cut the head of the snake off to fix the problem. You have to cut off the head of the snake. Do that, things might get back to normal. Think about that. Think about that large scale. Think about that. How do you change stuff? You change the people making the rules. If you care. Because Chicago's been the way it is for years. It's just a cesspool of horrible, as Hillary Clinton would say, deplorable, you know, dirtbags and scumbags. And fat chicks. It's just a overall it's a horrible society. I did a podcast where I was like, you actually should abolish the prison system and take a state like Wyoming that has the lowest population, empty it out, and just put every prisoner there. That's kind of what Chicago is. It's kind of what Detroit is. They're keeping all the shit in those two places, and those two places are the worst places to live in America. Oh well. I mean, we are ruining our future with with everything going on right now. And then the government keeps pushing falsehoods, you know. We have a new flu and we won't just act like because it's never going away. Well, we keep trying to close stuff down because it's going to go away. It's not going away. The flu and the common cold have been around forever. That's not going away. Like the shots that don't work, now they're saying just get another booster of it. That's not logical because it doesn't, well, prevent or stop the spread anyway. Fully quote unquote vaccinated people were the first people to get the new variant of the Omicron. It's a fact. Look it up. Look up the South African doctor. The people who got the Omicron virus were fully vaccinated. But yet we're trying to push that too. Vaccines don't work. White people, it doesn't work. Fully vaccinated people still get it. If it doesn't prevent or stop the spread, it's not a vaccine. Like there's so many things wrong going, you know, and then there's so few politicians, even though you can't depend on them, but there's so few. But the thing with the politician, they have a voice, like a public voice, and you know they're on TV a lot, so it's like they get to be heard. Like a person like me that doesn't get to be heard. When I say it doesn't matter, but yeah, YouTube, I'll still take down a video from my channel. Now I am influential. I am influential. I mean I am. It's just, you know, but the thing is like I don't have a title behind my name, so like what I say doesn't matter. Okay, but I do quote everything I say is facts because I'm repeating the same stuff like, you know, doctors are saying on these news stations. There's several independent news stations like GBN where they have real doctors on there. And I watch it and then I repeat what they say. And then I go, hey, do your own research. I'm repeating what they're saying. And then YouTube has taken down not several, but like 5 or 6 videos of mine where I'm quoting the doctor, like a real doctor. And a few of them were from CNN, you know, just quoting stats. But because it doesn't fit the narrative, it gets taken down. But like a big network, they don't do. But like sometimes they do. Like there's a few networks where they ran a story that the left didn't like. YouTube would take it down. So you know, it just depends. But anyway, take your kids out of school if you live in Chicago. Place is a shithole. Peace.